you see after a long time, long discussion has been on. Now this has been. आप अपना म्यूट कर. हाँ ठीक
Yeah.
है ठीक है फाइन.
Just a moment. Yeah.
फोन भी शायद ऑन था, फोन अब कट गया, ठीक है. So how do you
Yeah.
see this
Just
FTA?
a moment. Just give me a one moment.
Yeah.
Just give me one moment.
Yes. ये मैं लगा. ये क्या?
Yeah, correct. Now, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Clear.
right.
Okay. So how do you see from long time India is trying to work out this FTA? It has been happened, and it has been happened at a time
Can you
when
speak a bit loudly because probably you are not near the mic.
okay, sir. From long time India is working on this FTA. So for
Yeah,
India,
right.
Indian economy and Indian trade, what this really mean?
I think it's given the current situation, it's a very big achievement. There is no doubt about it. Because now, as they in English, they say that, the multilateralism is dead and long live multilateralism. We all hope that multilateralism will, will be alive some other day. But at this point of time, the bilateralism and any kind of plurilateralism is the way to go. In that way, in fact, this is something where the tariffs will be slashed for almost 85% of the products for the Indian exports to UK. Yes, even for 90% of UK exports to India, also tariffs will be slashed. But of course, in a time where, in fact, particularly with the USA, you can never be sure that what is going to happen. So then, possibly in the sectors like what I would say, textile, some part of the automobiles, and then definitely, some part of, sectors like carpet, sector like pharmaceuticals, these kind of sectors where, in fact, we expect Indian export to rise, Indian export to the UK to rise. And then if it rises, then nothing like it. But even if it does not immediately, but there is always a possibility of rising the entire thing, maybe over a period of 2 to 3 years. I am pretty sure about it. So it's a no wonder in the government circle it is claimed to be an historic achievement. We need to see that how it pans out. But definitely, I would also agree with the official point of view that it's a huge achievement given the current situation and the current turmoil in the global trade and the kind of absolute chaos we are in, particularly within the global business and global economy also. So that is where I will put it.
This will help India because India has commenced a deal with UK. Can it will be helpful for India to enter into a deal with US and other EU in a similar way in near future?
With the USA, with America, I am hopeful because there is a geopolitics involved. Because there is geopolitics involved in the entire this Indo-UK deal also. Because UK came out of uh, European Union, and on the entire Brexit thing happened, and then it was a mistake. Now there is no doubt about even within the official circles in the UK that it was a mistake. So they are also looking for partners everywhere. So obviously uh, India being the one of the major emerging economies, doing a very healthy growth, having a quite a bit of a healthy growth during the period of last 5 to 7 years also. So there was a convergence. Of course, there was a convergence, but even in the case of the USA also, the President Trump has to show something because, then at the current point of time, China is not buzzing at all from their the position. And then for all other major economies, USA has put in a 90 days pause. So obviously, even within that, somewhere around these 90 days, even they have to show some result. I am not saying possibly the final FTA, but what they call that early harvesting. There is a thing called early harvesting where both the countries, both the parties in a bilateral treaty, they agree to uh, slash tariff on some agreed sectors to begin with, and then take it forward in other sectors also. And then a lot of this thing. But I am pretty much hopeful about the Indo-US, if not the final FTA, then definitely for the, I would say, an early harvest deal in the next 90 days or so, 90 or 100 days or so. I think there must be some kind of a breakthrough. But European Union is a different ball game altogether because they're actually, I am optimistic. Of course, I am also optimistic because even within EU also, Germany, France, these major economies, they are having sort of a slowdown, not only this year or previous year, for the past 2, 3, 4 years, they are not doing well. So obviously, and given the entire unpredictability of the Trump administration, then obviously there will be an urge for all major economies. I would not only say India or US or UK or EU or Japan or then China or other countries, but definitely all countries will try to look for alternative, new export market, new export destinations. So there is an urge there, but I am not sure whether it is as strong as, let's say, it was for the UK to strike a deal. And as you correctly pointed out, it took a hell lot of a time because to strike a deal between two major countries or major economies, it always takes some amount of time. There is no doubt about it. So with EU also, it may take some amount of time. But with the US, yes, I am hopeful that something early harvest or some phase one, phase two, this kind of a thing may happen in the next 3 months or 4 months of time.
Amid the global tension and so also tension on our frontier with Pakistan. So how do you see this trade commitment with UK? Because we have a neighbor who is struggling with funds. No one is giving them loan as well. And now we have entered into a trade deal with economy like UK.
Correct.
So how do you, how much this will give us psychological strength in this psycho war with Pakistan?
Pakistan, in my own belief, Pakistan will try to disrupt, which is what the country is doing for the past so many decades now. So they will try to disrupt, and then my only point is that I am not in a position, I'm no expert in political matters, how things will pan out, what kind of tension India and Pakistan will have, and ultimately finally what shape it will take, because in today's times everybody is talking about whether the war is imminent between these two countries or not. But my own belief is that I am not getting into any value judgment. I am not saying that whether India should or India should not, whether, it's a very good idea or a bad idea. I'm not getting there. But business and war, they don't mix up very well, at least for a country like India. We are not a country which actually manufactures a lot of defense equipments, a lot of tanks, a lot of, fighter planes. We are not that country. we buy from others. Mostly we buy from others. But I hope that someday we'll also become a country, a very big player in the entire defense equipment market, all kinds of arms and defense equipment. But we are not yet there. Forget about not yet there. We are just at a very initial stage, and then we are trying. We are trying that our into that foray. So if that is true, then obviously any kind of war is not going to help the business, because war needs a hell lot of money, because you need to spend billions of not even rupees, you have to spend billions of dollars, possibly millions and billions of dollars to once the war starts and you don't know where does it go. So then my own personal opinion is that it's this is possibly one very big signal that economy should get a little bit more preference than any kind of. Does it mean that I believe that India should not retaliate? I believe that India should retaliate, but there are other ways of retaliating. I am pretty much sure the government is doing all those things. There is no doubt about that. Possibly, all the diplomatic channels are getting explored. And then there are other different ways also. There are economic ways of weakening Pakistan, which is already weak, as you correctly pointed out, because they are not in a very good shape. So obviously, we are in a position, we are in a platform, we are in a spring platform, or a perfect platform from which we can jump to the next level. So do we take the jump, or do we stay here and get engaged with a country which, practically speaking, does not have a future? At least it does not seem so. For the next 30, 40, 50 years, I can't see a very great future for a country like Pakistan, because of multiple reasons. So I think it will be a decision for the policymakers in our central government, and it's very heartening, because that is why I am saying it's a very good sign that this FTA, after such a long time, this FTA has materialized. So possibly we can take it as a as something positive which has happened to our economy. And once your economy grows, once we grow, let's say we are somewhere around whatever, some people are saying that it's all about calculation. Some people are saying we are somewhere around 3.5 trillion. Some people are saying we are close to 4 trillion. But whatever it may be, but if the GDP, our GDP gets a huge boost, and we reach maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 trillion kind of things in the in the next 5 to 7 years, then of course we'll be much stronger than, forget about Pakistan, will be much stronger than a lot of other countries. When I am saying lot of other countries, I am thinking in terms of Japan. I am thinking in terms of even China. Why not? Thinking in terms of, with China, of course, the entire dynamics is different, but definitely will be, if we reach somewhere around 8 trillion or that kind of a figure in our GDP, dollar I am talking about, then of course, will be comparable to Japan, will be comparable to most of the European countries, barring possibly, some of the bigger, the legacy, historically, very strong major economies like Germany and France and other kind of countries. But will anyway, economically strong, becoming economically strong is almost equivalent to be strong even geopolitically. That is the short point that I am trying to make. So any decision which needs to be taken as far as the dealing with Pakistan is concerned, ideally should not hurt our progress towards prosperity, through our GDP boost and other kind of things. That is what I feel. But of course, the government, a lot of other compulsions are there. So obviously, and in any case, in one sentence, if I have to answer your question, then definitely yes, because you know, it's a kind of a, what I would say, it's a kind of a vindication of India's rise. Our erstwhile, we are actually having, one-to-one agreement, economic and trade agreement with our erstwhile colonizer. So it's a matter. It should be a matter of immense satisfaction to any Indian, and that way I'm very happy and satisfied.
My last question would be how these trade agreements take time to be operational. How much time it takes, how much time lag it takes to become these agreement operational.
Usually, usually it takes, it takes kind of an year, so sort of from 8 to 10 months to a year. So that is what the standard. I don't know, if they want to fast track the entire thing at this point of time, given the circumstances on which we already discussed. I am not getting there again, but otherwise it is somewhere around 10 months, 1 year is the usual time, because a lot of it's a process, because you in both the customs posts in both the countries, there the adjustment need to be made, and then a new systems will crop up. Of course, this will be under WTO. We have this most favored nation MFN status, but here, in fact, practically speaking, we are even going beyond that. When one to one we are having bilateral treaty with one another country, then obviously we are giving them more than that MFN status under normal WTO agreement and a certain amount of thing, which needs calculation. What I am trying to say is that the customs officials, for example, who are actually receiving goods from, let's say, UK, after 1.5 year, when the treaty is under effect, and then when UK exports come to India, or Indian imports from UK arrive at our seaports, or any other kind of land ports and other kind of places, then obviously the customs officials need to be very prepared, because what rate, what customs duty rate will be applicable to which product. So these are, we say a lot of things very casually, but of course, those who have to implement the entire thing, it's a very detailed, complex and cumbersome process. That is what I'm trying to say. So it takes a little bit of time, but I hope that it might get fast tracked, in today's times. So let's see. Let's hope that it will be fast tracked, and then we don't have to wait for 1 year, one full year, and maybe even somewhere around 8 months or 10 months will be seeing the implementation of the entire agreement.
Thank you very much, Abhijit. Thank you very much. Thank you for talking to PTI.
I hope that this will suffice.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks a lot.